Hey guys, welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies, and today, oh my god, it's 2019. Oh my god, it's 2019. That is crazy to me. I'm still trying to get used to that. That's just crazy to me. In today's video, we are going to be talking about my thoughts. It's another one of my thoughts videos. We're going to be discussing SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, at the end of 2018, the creator of SpongeBob SquarePants unfortunately passed away. I want to say this right now. SpongeBob has definitely made its mark and has changed and touched people's hearts all over the world. And a lot of people know about SpongeBob. This video really isn't about encouraging people to watch SpongeBob, as it is just me trying to share my thoughts and feelings towards SpongeBob. I mean, I never did a video for his passing either, because, well, my channel's not known for SpongeBob videos, so I never did. So this is really my my response to both his passing and my response to SpongeBob as a series in general. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about SpongeBob. So, SpongeBob is pretty much, if you haven't known about it, you're living underneath a rock. If you have never even heard of the name, you're living underneath a rock. I mean, SpongeBob is everywhere. What is SpongeBob about? Huh, that's kind of difficult. What the heck is SpongeBob about? Got to think of it. SpongeBob is about a sea sponge who actually looks like a kitchen sponge, who lives in a town called Bikini Bottom, which is based off Bikini Atoll, which was a place of nuclear sites. So basically, this show is about nuclear disaster fish turned into a cartoon. It really is kind of something else. It's really about a sea sponge who basically just lives his everyday life. I don't really know. This is not scripted or anything. I really don't know how to really say what SpongeBob is about, because, well, it's SpongeBob. It's kind of in the name. SpongeBob really is nothing about anything except SpongeBob itself, and and his friends, and ridiculous moments with his friends throughout the show. So, of course, when it comes to me, and I'm one of the original people who were fans of SpongeBob. Like, I swear, I can't remember how old I was, but SpongeBob came out back in 2001, and I saw the very first. I am one of the very few people who actually saw the very first episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, the first episode of SpongeBob SquarePants is not what you guys think. The very first episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, you can, in fact, look it up on YouTube. I'll leave a link to it in the description below if I can find it. The very first episode of SpongeBob SquarePants was actually a commercial for the show. You see, back then, we didn't know if SpongeBob was really going to be a cartoon, so what they did is they made a quick little episode, put it out there, sort of as a commercial, not a commercial, but sort of a small little episode thing, just to see if people would be interested in it, and by far a lot of people were interested in it. SpongeBob typically has episodes of about 11 minutes each. Because the very first episode really was just a test run, it only took about 8 to 9 minutes long, and the very first episode of SpongeBob really was more of a commercial for the series than it was an actual episode. And I am one of the very first people who saw it. That's crazy to me. I am 21. SpongeBob is indeed almost as old as me. I am one of the very few people, one of the, I'm not very few, but I'm one of the original people who was an original fan of SpongeBob SquarePants. That's actually pretty darn crazy after all of these years. Wow. What was the first episode about? So, the first episode was about SpongeBob SquarePants. He was going to the Krusty Krab to get his job. And everything with the pilot episode of SpongeBob SquarePants just shows what this show was going to be about. It was fun, goofy, but it taught lessons and left memories. That's what the show originally was supposed to be about. In the very first episode, SpongeBob is going to go get his job at the Krusty Krab. He cowers out, and then his best friend Patrick, which at the time, back then, a lot of the characters throughout SpongeBob has completely changed. No character has changed more than Patrick. At the time, Patrick was supposed to be that best friend that you know you shouldn't listen to, but actually does care about you and try to help you out. The guy that tries to act smart, but really is not. And that's the original Patrick to me. I really enjoyed the original Patrick, the original SpongeBob. That's how it was through the first couple of seasons of SpongeBob. That all changed later on. We'll get to that. He talks to SpongeBob. He encourages him to go and get that job. He goes in, talks to Mr. Krabs, talks to Squidward. They consider him nothing more but an annoying kid, so they have him go run on this ridiculous goose chase errand, trying to find a hydraulic spatula or something stupid like that. And then anchovies show up. Basically, the lunch rush shows up, and they are way too busy, way over their heads, and they're about to die because these people are just rioting. These anchovies are rioting, trying to get food. It's really funny. And then here comes SpongeBob, who actually finds the goose chase, I don't know what it's called, a hydraulic spatula with twin turbo action. I don't know what it was. It was hilarious. Memories. SpongeBob back then used to be a show that actually taught kids lessons. Like, there was actually a show about cursing, and you know, parents might be like, well, why would you do that? Why would you have cursing in a show? But the fact is, it was a show about teaching kids not to curse. That episode was about teaching kids not to curse. And there was this really cool episode. One of my favorite episodes is SpongeBob ripped his pants, because in that episode, basically what happens is SpongeBob was playing with Sandy, and then Larry the Lobster comes around and takes all the attention away from SpongeBob. So what SpongeBob decides to do is he decides to try to play with him, and he ends up ripping his pants, making everybody laugh. Because of that, he now thinks that all he has to do to get the attention that he wants is rip his pants. So he plays that joke again and again and again, way too far, way too long, and eventually everyone leaves him. And it teaches, through the episode, it basically teaches kids that you shouldn't, a joke's a joke, but you shouldn't take it too far, and even if people are not paying attention to you, it doesn't mean that they don't like you. And I absolutely love that episode. That's probably my absolute favorite episode from all of SpongeBob, is that episode right there. Not to mention it has a really catchy scene what would be my second favorite episode would be the band episode where Squidward is he's trying to throw a band to impress his arch rival. Well, SpongeBob gets involved and it messes it up. Well, at the end, he gives up, but SpongeBob doesn't. And SpongeBob, through his actions, not only saves the band, but basically gives Squidward what he needs, a friend. I love that episode. That's my second favorite episode. I absolutely love SpongeBob SquarePants, and during the early days between the first, a lot of people say the first 3 seasons. I argue season 4 was actually not as bad as people say. The first 4 original seasons of SpongeBob SquarePants was fantastic, and you know, a lot of people don't like the phrase, they really don't like the phrase, and I can't even believe I'm saying it when I talk about SpongeBob, but they really don't like the phrase educational TV. But in fact, I say back then, if a show didn't teach you lessons, then what was the point of having the show? And SpongeBob, for a very long time, was actually very educational. And I really did enjoy my time as a fan of SpongeBob. Now, eventually what happened was the creator was moving on, he was retiring, he was planning to do other stuff, so he left SpongeBob. The creator himself left SpongeBob. And instead of canceling the show, SpongeBob was Nickelodeon's biggest ticket item when it comes to cash. So they kept the show going. And it turned into utter trash. Now, to a lot of kids growing up, it was like the rest of the shows that they watched, which were utter trash. But I don't think those kids will ever have as strong as a memory of SpongeBob as I do because of the lessons learned from SpongeBob. Eventually, the creator of the show was one day sitting down with I think it was his granddaughter, I believe, and she was a big fan of SpongeBob, so he sat down with her, and he was embarrassed by what the show had become, so he, in fact, came back to basically remake the show, and he made the last 2 seasons of SpongeBob. I have not seen those last 2 seasons of SpongeBob yet. Maybe I should look at them. I just don't have time. I never had the chance to look at them. But now he has passed away. The question is, will they continue SpongeBob? Does SpongeBob have a new season? I simply don't know. But even if this is indeed the end of SpongeBob, the show will always be known as one of the greatest icons in all of cinematic history. It is. It is a great show, and I encourage anyone who hasn't seen the first 3, arguably the first 4 seasons of SpongeBob, go back and watch it now. All you're going to see is laughs, enjoyment, entertainment, a little bit of educational TV, but you are really going to enjoy yourself if you choose to go back and watch SpongeBob. So, rest in peace to the creator of SpongeBob. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. Bye. Oh, and my favorite character would definitely be Squidward. I just love how the dynamic between Squidward and SpongeBob is. It makes them great opposite ends of our life, and yet they just cut them off as great friends. They really do. It's really, really funny and amusing how Squidward always wants to just downplay SpongeBob, and yet it's because of SpongeBob that his life is lifted. So that's great. I just love the history and the dynamic between those two characters. I can't believe I'm talking about SpongeBob like it's a great in-depth, deep show. Trust me, it's not that deep. All you gotta do is watch it and find out that it's not that deep. It doesn't go that deep. It's just my feelings towards it go that deep. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. Bye.